So Jakob Ingebrigtsen posted on Instagram yesterday a video of him running on a treadmill with the caption, "Normal service has resumed." So I assume seems like he's back to full running. I don't want to speculate completely on what it's looking like, but it seems like he's running. And now today, 3 hours ago, he posted, "Let's get this show on the road, traveling to St. Moritz here today to begin altitude training." So it seems like things are going well for Jakob, but it also leaves some questions as to how well are things going? What's it going to look like in a month or two, or in September when he's in at Worlds?
All that matters for this dude is how he does at Worlds, right? We're talking, I can't believe USA is 16 days away. If you're not ready for USA's, you're in trouble at this point. You got your 2 weeks. You can sharpen up a little bit and pray. But Jakob's got, I don't have a calculator in front of me, probably almost 60 days. That's 8 weeks probably. Probably 8 weeks from this weekend, we think, for Worlds. I think that's plenty of time for this dude. Looks like the baby's going with him to altitude. I think last year the baby stayed home.
As the former coach here, that's not a lot of time. I mean, it's two exact months to Worlds, right? So 8-9 weeks. I mean, think of it this way. It's kind of like somebody starting their training at the end of September for NCAA cross country. So it would kind of be like one of these stars that maybe goes to Worlds in the track, takes some time off, and then starts training. Can they get in shape for NCAAs and cross country in like the end of November? I think we've seen it, but Jonathan, what do you think? I've got my predictions: 1,500 and 5,000.
I think that's a great analogy, Robert. And actually, a lot of times those athletes do end up getting in shape and winning it. Think about Graham Blanks last year. His season goes all the way through August at the Olympics. He comes back. He gets beaten in the regular season by Hampton Samuel, and then shows up at NCAA Cross in November, and he wins it. So I think in the 5,000, I would still have him as the favorite right now because the gap was so big from him to the rest of the world. He won by 1.3 seconds or something last year, and that was really all over the last 200 meters or so. I think his cushion was large enough that as good as Grant Fisher has been this year, as good as Nico Young, I'm still going with Jakob in that event. The 1,500 is what worries me because he hasn't won any of the last 3 years. He didn't have maybe if you talk about pure fitness time trial, yes, he did run 3:26, which is the world leader last year, but I think he needed those extra months to sort of get strong enough to close that gap that existed on the podium in Paris last year. So that one worries me, but even if he had a totally healthy build-up, I still don't think I would have had him as the favorite in the 1,500. So yeah, that's how I see it at the moment.
For a normal human being or somebody like myself, yeah, Worlds are exactly 60 days from today they start. Not enough time. For these superstar athletes, guys who are used to cross-training, Jakob, I think it's plenty of time. I think he wins the 5,000. The 1,500, it's like he gets a free pass now. Could this be good for him? It's not like he's just destroying everyone on the Diamond League like he always does. Goes in and they're like, oh, does this strategy work? Now it's sort of like, if anything, he's coming in on the upswing.
I think it creates a few interesting scenarios. One, does he abandon the 1,500 entirely? In which case, I think, Josh Kerr would have a field day. I don't think that's happening. I think if he goes to Worlds, he will run both events. But does he go thinking like, hey, I'm probably still going to win the 5K, but the 1,500 is more of a free hit? I mean, maybe if he doesn't think his fitness is where he wants it to be or needs it to be in the 15, he changes his tactics up a little bit and he goes in with a little less stress. Like he just says, all right, I'm going to try to do what Cole Hawker did last year. And maybe my kick's not strong enough, but if not, whatever. I didn't quite have the summer of training that I wanted to use the strategy I like to use from before, winding it up, and it just lowers expectations for him. I mean, could that help him? Maybe. I mean, I'm not convinced he wins in that strategy either, but maybe like mentally it might help a little bit. But he's also a guy who like thrives on confidence and likes to think. He always says, he's the best guy, and he thinks of himself that way. So I'm not sure if it does it help him from a confidence standpoint. I'm not sure.
To bring it back to Nick Willis from last week, I remember it might have been after Habs and Koech and Mills ran really fast in that 1500. I think he tweeted something along the lines of, he was speculating whether or not Jakob would run the 1500 at Worlds. I'm in the camp that he would. I think he's got a lot of pride and feels a certain way about the 1500. I think he has a lot of unfinished business in the 1500, so I'm sure he'll run it. But he does come back weirdly to a very like different 1500 landscape than when he left. I mean, it was already an insanely loaded, like global fields in Paris, and now he comes back with, you know, facing I think five like other 327 guys, Kerr, Hawker, Nagoose, and now Habs and the Kenyan Koech. So it's like if he's coming back from injury, it's hard to know if the fitness gap that he usually has against the rest of the world is going to be there with all these 327 guys. Let alone now all these 329 runners. Now I don't think Festus Legat and Cameron Myers or Nader of Portugal are really going to be the main guys challenging him in a world final. But now there's Niels Laros, who was sixth at the Olympics, winning the Prefontaine, Bowerman Mile, and it's just now there's just all these guys that weren't there before or weren't as good before, and I think that changes things up. I think you might have to run a little bit differently.
I don't really agree with that because the gap between the top four and everybody else last year was vast. Those other guys have gotten faster, but I don't think they bridged the gap. Maybe Laros has, but everybody else, I mean, Hobbs Kessler seems worse to me this year than last year. We'll talk about that later in the show. Here's some stats for you. Last year, remember, he had an Achilles injury in the other foot. Opened up a pre, got beat, and then, of course, he didn't medal in the Olympics. So we're talking about favorite. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be the favorite in the 1500. Unless he gets the world record and wins another gold, then I'm not having him the favorite in any of these races in the 1500 period, even if he's 100% healthy. Certainly not this year because he's got last year between the pre-classic and the 1500 final at Worlds, which, I mean, at the Olympics, by the way, he did not medal, remember, he had 73 days. So he was already racing and had 73 days of fitness and still couldn't do it. Couldn't even medal. This year, between yesterday when he says he's back, that means back training, not racing, and the world's 1500 meter final, he's got 65 days. So he has less time. Now, I do think he's going to be in shape because think about it. Last year, he ran 326 before the Olympics. So I think he can be in shape enough to make it interesting. I'd be like everybody else, stunned. If Jakob runs Worlds, but not the 1500, I will burn all the Jakob Ingebrigtsen t-shirts we have in the store. They will be burned.
I kind of agree with Tate, though. I think the event has changed. It used to be there was just a few guys. I'll have to create a chart because I don't have hard data. But I feel like there used to be a few guys under 330. Jakob had a huge fitness advantage than everybody else. He was just much faster than everybody else. Okay, fine, he ran 326 this year, but there's a bunch of guys who have now run 327. So he's not 2 seconds faster than the field unless you think he's a 325 guy right now.
But I don't care. Why do I care if he's fourth or seventh? If he's not in the top three, particularly if he's not one, he might as well finish last for me. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, you can evaluate it afterwards. We're just saying right now, he used to come into this. Everyone thought he was fitter than everybody else or faster in a time trial type race. And now there's even some question mark around that. So then now what sort of strategy do you employ? if it's not 100% Jakob, we all would debate whether 100% Jakob can win this thing. He's got to get the tactics perfectly. Well, what if it's 95% Jakob? And Tate, are we too obsessed with this guy, or are you really into him as well?
No, I'm into him. I'm excited that he's back in the full swing of things. I think he makes every race he's in that more exciting. I think it's fair.
I'm just pushing back on this ludicrous idea that the intern Tate and Weldon have brought up, that there's a lot of guys that are right there in the 1500 now. Like Habs and Koech, yes, they've run 327. The third guy in the world is a 328 guy. It's George Mills. I mean, George Mills is a 5K guy. Like Habs raced Yared at Pre, and he lost by like 0.6, 0.7 of seconds, and Yared was tying up. So, and then Habs has got basically a second and a half on everyone in the world not named George Mills or Fauno Koech. So I think that Naguse and Kerr are they're still significantly better than everybody else. I think Hocker will be up at that level, and we'll see if Jakob or maybe I think Laros can get to that level, but maybe a Koech.
I also just trust those guys more, Robert. They're proven championship competitors. Hobbs has made one final in his life and finished 11th. Koech has never made a final or competed at a senior global championship. And Hawker, Naguse, and Kerr all ran 327 in their third race of a championships, whereas that's different from doing it in a one-off Diamond League. So I am kind of with you. I'm not convinced that they'll still be at Jakob's level, but they are running faster than other people have during the regular season in recent years. I think, who is Jakob going to have to beat for the World Championships? I think it's going to be Naguse, Hawker, Kerr, and Laros. Those are the guys I see as his main competition. Or maybe Koech. I mean, Koech is like a wild card. He might just be unreal talent. He might be up there.
I agree with the point that, like, obviously, Naguse, Kerr, Hawker, those types are way more established on that global scene. And I don't think most reasonable people would put Habs or Koech over them. But I think if you're one of those 329 guys, or if you're looking at those 329 guys, not even the 327 guys, and you look back to, like, I don't know, like even last year in Paris, where you had, Naguse, who's like a 329 guy, Hawker, who had the 330 best. Obviously, Hawker is probably in better fitness at USA's than that, but he had a 330 best, and they went and ran 327. I think if you're looking at, there's probably one guy within that, group of like new 329 guys who fully peaked, at the World Championship final, can just go out and blow everyone's minds. I think that's a possibility. Maybe they don't win per se, but to sneak onto the podium, I wouldn't say is out of the picture. I think there's just too many of these guys for all of them to just, kind of fall off.
See, this shows the difference of the optimism of youth. Tate's a young guy, probably aspiring to college greatness. I'm a jaded coach. After 10 years, I realized the fifth placer never becomes the first placer. You just recruit a new talent, and the fifth guy might move up to maybe fourth or third. Look at the guys who get the bronze. They have like a peak season. They get I guess you're saying bronze.
What are you talking about, Robert?
Yeah.
Literally fifth and like Josh Kerr. I'm going to look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer. What place did he finish at the 2022 World Championships in the 1500 meters?
You don't have these also rans. Josh Kerr was like a European double time, I believe, 1500 meter champion. This guy was a star from day one. He won NCAAs as a
Okay. So, you saying they need to have this track record of success? Because I'm pushing back on you. Josh Kerr was fifth at 2022 Worlds, wins Worlds next year. Cole Hawker was seventh at the 2023
I'm not saying
Worlds.
fifth, but Cole Hawker and Josh Kerr identified themselves as future stars. Like, you can't be any better than European champion like Kerr and then NCAA champion as a sophomore. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. Hawker, was insane in high school, Foot Locker champ in cross country, and then he comes into the NCAA and wins double 1,500 indoor mile, 3,000 things over Cooper Tier.
Okay.
And then gets in the Olympics. It's not about the place. It's about like your age and your fitness. I don't think a veteran. I mean, okay, let's look at this list. Okay, George Mills isn't going to run the 1,500. Festus Legat is 4th in the world. He is 28 years old, almost 29. He's not going to do anything in terms of medaling. Stefan Nielsen, okay, he's 24 for Netherlands.
He's 22.
Says he's born. Oh yeah, 22. Maybe he could do something. He's under 23 record holder. Isaac Nader, no chance. He's too old. Anyone born in the 90s is not going to rise up and get a medal over these other guys because we know there's 3 other good guys. You've got Abel Kipsang, born in the 90s. Isaac Nader, born in the 90s. Timothy Chariot. We really think Timothy Chariot, 8th in the world, has any shot at Worlds? No. But we got a lot more to talk about. Good segment, Tate.
Wait, I'm gonna try something here with Tate. Tate, if I said I'm gonna let you buy some racing shoes for the roads, there's a certain brand you would just probably go by.
I gotta say Nike. I've run in the Vaporflies in my training, and they're great. It's all I've ever tried, so I gotta say Vaporflies.
The branding of Nike is amazing. They've always made the best racing shoes. I don't know if that's still actually factually the case, but Tate, that is the proper answer. Thank you so much. We can now promote the deal of the day. Act fast, as there's a huge sale on the Nike Vaporfly 3. I thought I wasn't supposed to say the price, but now it's showing up. $176. That's a savings of $82, $83. Save some cash, get a great shoe. The Alphafly is also for sale, but you got to add to the cart to see that price. Or you want to go more traditional? Pegasus Plus are on sale. Or we're talking about Jakob. You can get the Nike Zoom Fly 6 Ingebrigtsen edition. That one's not on sale, people, but hey, you got to pay full price for the real deal. If we ever get him on the podcast, we'll find out if that's his training shoe. Act fast. Links in the show notes.